I'm creating a white chocolate marshmallow edible Easter egg inside a real eggshell. This is such a cool recipe. You're going to really enjoy making this. It's quite technical, a little bit tricky, but I'm going to show you step by step how to create this amazing Easter dessert. It's made inside of a real eggshell, and you can crack it and open it up, and you've got this amazing egg that's actually marshmallow on the inside. It's a stunning recipe. Let me show you how to do it.
So we're going to start by preparing the eggshells, followed by creating a tempered white chocolate exterior. Then we will make a marshmallow center, and finally we'll finish the chicks. So of course you'll need eggs for this recipe. Now you can use medium, small or large eggs, whatever you prefer. I've used a medium large egg here. And then I picked up this little gadget off the internet. It's an egg topper. Now these come in various different shapes and sizes, but they all pretty much do the same thing, and that is to remove the top of the egg cleanly by applying pressure evenly distributed around into the shape of a disc. So as you can see here, as I lift it and ping it back down, it just creates that little crack in the egg, which allows me to lift off top from the egg. This is something that will take practice. So if you're going to make 12 eggs for this recipe, I'd recommend getting at least another 6, just so you can have a little bit of a practice. But all you need to do is just work your way through all of these eggs, one by one, taking the top off, emptying out the egg until you have around 12 beautifully formed eggs. As I say, you get better with practice, and here you can see one that's absolutely perfect. Now if you can nail that on all of them, then you're onto a winner. If not, don't worry about it, it's no problem at all. They can be a little bit rough and ready. These are actually really cool, and in the restaurant we've used these before, filling them with a little granitas like a pre-dessert or set with a creme brulee. I've seen savoury chefs fill them with scrambled eggs, for example. So while it's a little bit laborious, it's definitely worth that little bit of effort. So we've got these amazing eggs now. So from here we need to take 50 grams of egg whites ready for our marshmallow. Please ensure that there are no egg yolks mixed in with the egg whites, as that will hinder our meringue from rising. Now very simply we take the eggs and we rinse them in warm water just to remove any of the excess egg. Once you've done that and they're all cleaned out nicely, we're going to take some boiling water from the kettle, pour it into a bowl, and then we're going to just put those eggshells into that hot water and just leave them for about a minute or so. This will do a couple of things. First of all, it will sterilize them, and second of all, it will start to cook the little membrane that's on the inside to allow us to remove that membrane much easier. So if you just feel inside that eggshell, there is a small membrane lining the inside of the eggshell. Now that it's been in hot water, you should be able to just reach in there and just pull the little bits of membrane out just like that. Again, it's a little bit laborious, but it is worth making the little bit of extra effort. If you miss some pieces of membrane, it's no problem at all. So continue to work your way through all of these eggs until all of the eggs have had the membrane removed as best you can. And once you've done that, let them completely dry using a little bit of paper towel to assist this process. So these eggshells are now ready for our next step, which is to fill them with a white chocolate shell. To do this, we're going to take 300 grams of white chocolate, chop it really, really finely, and we're then going to melt it in the microwave. Now we're going to melt it in such a way that it stays within its perfect state, which is called tempered chocolate. That means that when it's set, it's going to be a little bit heat resistant, it's going to have a nice shine and a nice snap to it. In order to do this, we microwave this in small bursts of power, ensuring that the chocolate never goes over a temperature of 32 degrees C. So we're going to microwave it maybe 10-15 seconds at a time, ensuring that there's still a few little lumps of chocolate in there as we're melting it. I'm going to test that temperature, about 30 degrees, so it can go a little bit higher, just a quick 4 or 5 second blast. The target is between 31 and 32. This is 88 to 89 degrees Fahrenheit, or if you haven't got a temperature probe, just make sure that you take it from the microwave while there's still lumps in it, stirring the chocolate until it's all completely melted. It's at a great temperature of about 31 degrees. When you're happy with this, we can now transfer the chocolate into a piping bag ready to pipe into our egg shells. So from here we'll snip a hole in the piping bag. Always make sure you remove the little tip and throw that straight in the bin. We will fill up the eggshells full of white chocolate. Pick up the egg, rotate it around, make sure there's a nice even coating of chocolate on the inside of the eggshell. Tip them upside down into the corresponding empty 6 eggshells. You can just use your finger just to smooth it out, make sure there's white chocolate all the way around the cavity. And then finally, with those last 6 eggs, you're then going to again roll it around to make sure the white chocolate's everywhere. Then tip the excess white chocolate out onto a baking tray, wipe off any excess white chocolate from the outside of the egg, patch up any gaps again using white chocolate, give it a little clean, keep the spare white chocolate for another use in the future, and place the chocolate eggs in the fridge for 20 minutes to set. Remove them from the fridge and take some Dulche De Leche, which will then pipe into the bottom of each egg. Please see the link above where you can see my recipe for how to make Dulche De Leche for my churros recipe. These are now ready to go, and we're going to move on to the marshmallow. So all marshmallow is really is just a meringue made with a hot sugar syrup and then with added gelatine. So we need 3.5 sheets of gelatine, which we soak in a generous amount of ice water and leave aside for 5 minutes. Then in a small pan, take 100 grams of caster sugar, 50 grams of water, and 25 grams of liquid glucose. Place together in a small pan, heat on a medium to low heat until it's melted, then bring to the boil. At this stage we're going to squeeze out all the liquid from the sheets of gelatin which have been soaking in water. Heat in the microwave until it's fully liquid. So back to the sugar syrup, we need to take 50 grams of egg whites, start them whisking when the sugar has reached a syrup consistency, and then we want to take this sugar syrup to 125 to 130 degrees C, which is 255 to 265 degrees Fahrenheit, to slowly pour the syrup onto the meringue as we whip it. Once you've added the sugar syrup, next you're going to add the melted gelatin. Again whisk and continue to whisk for about 5 minutes until the mixture has thickened and cooled down to around 28 to 30 degrees. At this point the meringue should just hold its shape, but at the same time be still soft and pipeable. When you're happy with the temperature and the consistency, transfer into a piping bag. And this is now ready to pipe into the egg shells. So one by one, fill up the egg with the marshmallow. Once you've piped to the top, add a little extra blob on top, and that's going to give us a shape of the head for the little chick. So go ahead and fill up all of those lovely eggs in the same way. This recipe made just enough for 11 eggs. You could always increase the recipe by 10% to fill all 12 eggs. But here we are, we can now see the marshmallow is piped in beautifully. Now we're going to set those aside to set for about 1 hour room temperature or 20 minutes in the fridge until the marshmallow is just set. So we're going to take some yellow hundreds and thousands, which I picked up online, pour them into a bowl, before taking our marshmallows, which are now set to the touch, so it's still a little bit tacky, so we know the hundreds and thousands will stick. We're going to dip and evenly coat these little eggs, just like this. Repeat with all the remaining eggs. Okay, so these guys are now ready, and the last step is to draw on some little eyes. So very simply, take about 30 grams of dark chocolate, chop it finely, and place it into the microwave in 10-second bursts until it's just melted. Transfer this into a small piping bag, snip a little hole, and then simply paint on a couple of eyes onto each little chick. These little dudes are now completely finished, and they'll actually keep well at room temperature for a good couple of weeks. Look how cute they are. So here are your white chocolate, marshmallow, Dulche De Leche hatching chicks.
These are so cute, guys. I mean, look at the little faces. They're almost too cute to eat. Almost, but not quite. They'd make a fantastic gift. So I'm going to dig into one and see what it's like. It's so cool that you've got it inside this real eggshell and you're just going to crack it and open it up. I'm going to give it a go. It's like a hard-boiled egg on a morning, but not as you know it. A little bit sweeter. Listen to the sound of the shell. And there we have him. This little egg. It's great because he's actually really light, because obviously marshmallow is so light and fluffy. I actually feel quite guilty at this cute little guy, but here we go. Fantastic. The lightness of the marshmallow is so cool. You got these little hundreds of thousands on top, which give it a lovely crisp, a lovely texture, a lovely crunch. The Dulce De Leche, the caramel. Such a tasty treat. That is so good. Really tasty. This is a great dessert for Easter. I know it's a little bit technical, but if you follow all the temperatures right, it should be spot on. Set aside a good couple of hours if you actually have a go at this. It's a little bit time consuming, but it's definitely worth the effort. So as always, guys, if you want to see more recipes like this, please like and subscribe. Have a brilliant Easter, and I'll see you next week for another new recipe on Steph the Pastry Chef.